Good morning, my beautiful babes and babettes, and it is a miserable excuse for a day outside. It's cold. Yuck. Yay. Winter's coming. Woohoo. Woohoo. You can tell I'm thrilled about this. I'm a summer, autumn, spring person, not winter. Anyway, today's topic is actually going to be more about caring just for yourself apart from being with other people. As I had stated in the last video, social connection is extraordinarily important in keeping mental illness not necessarily at bay, but keeping it even just in perspective. But during the sorts of times that we're in right now, where social connection is inhibited and not always possible beyond a certain scope, like even if you only live with one other person, that still counts, but you might only ever see that one other person, because goodness only knows you might be working from home, la-di-da-di-da, right? I can't wait for this thing to be over. If it ever ends, good God. But inside of pandemic times and even outside of pandemic times, it's very important to recognize what we are capable of doing for ourselves in terms of taking care of our bodies and our minds. I had talked about the importance of sleep and of eating properly, but those are purely physical things. I wanted to talk today more about the mental, emotional things that we can do for ourselves. Now, we all have our different preferences of things that we just like to do. I have heard this called the quote toolbox method, which is put together your quote box of things that you enjoy doing, things that bring you happiness or at least calm, right? And then just do them sequentially, one after the other. Regardless of how well one works, who knows, maybe that day the other one might work better. You know, if like me, you're a video game nerd, you're a music nerd, you're a philosophy nerd, just throw together your box, because we all know what makes us happy, regardless of how immature or childish one of your outlets seems. Roll with it, because the whole point of the toolbox method is to get past the judgment of what it is that makes you happy and then to just do it. And I know that that can be extraordinarily difficult when you don't have any energy, even if it's just getting out of bed to put on a song that you like or to turn on the TV and watch a show that you like. It doesn't matter what your outlet is, as long as it's doing something to improve your mood. And if it's enough to give you the energy to get out of bed that day, amazing. That's awesome. You know, roll with whatever works best for you and can potentially make you happiest and potentially even give you a little bit of energy. This, of course, needs to be combined with the proper self-care in terms of your physical needs, getting enough sleep, getting enough to eat, even if you have to have someone take care of you in that regard. Because there are just cases where people are, quote, not strong enough to do it for themselves. This is not a matter of personal strength or moral will or integrity or anything like that. This has nothing to do with how strong you are or how weak you are as a human being. Depression has nothing to do with who you actually are. This, like any other disability, is a what, not a who. We can't allow it to define us in our totality. Mental illness is a lot harder to deal with than physical illness because a lot of people either don't understand it or refuse to understand it, which is worse. I define ignorance as not knowing. I define stupidity as not wanting to know. If people in your life are going to insist on being stupid about this, I don't advise cutting them out. Never cut out of your circle unless the person's influence is actually harmful to you, because the fewer resources off of which you can draw, the worse for you. But if someone doesn't understand and if someone won't understand, you explain it to them and you give them as vivid a detail as you feel is necessary to get them to understand that this is not a choice. Mental illness is not a choice, which is why it's an illness. You don't choose to come down with influenza. You don't choose to come down with the pandemic that we've got right now. The common cold. You don't choose any of that. You don't choose to break your leg or whatever. So why is it that some people think that this is a choice, and if you just put in enough effort, you get better? It doesn't work that way. At least with a physical illness, you can rest your leg or you can take your medicine. I mean, I know that there are antidepressants and antipsychotics and things like that that you can take to improve your state of mind. But apart from doing that, there's nothing you can do for yourself other than to surround yourself with people who love you and to do whatever it is that is in your power to make yourself feel good, even only for 5 minutes. Really, I mean, even just a 5-minute boost can be enough maybe to get you out of bed that day, to get you talking to a friend that day, to do whatever you need to do to broaden your scope, to improve your sense of being in this one moment, in this one day, even in this 1 hour, just any length of time that you feel that you can keep this up for is a good thing because it's a step up from where you were before. This is not your fault. This is not your choice, but you have it always in your power to do something, even the smallest thing, to help yourself out. So even if it seems totally immature to go and play Super Mario for an hour, like you might be an adult and you might be doing these things, you know that adults create video games, right? And you know that there are a lot of video games out there on the market specifically for adults. Mind you, Super Mario and things like that also play on the nostalgia factor for people my age and maybe a little bit older. I was born in 1990, so basically as far back as 84 or 85, if it plays off your nostalgia factor, do it, because children are often very happy. And the thing about making yourself happy is that even indulging in childhood pleasure, that's a great thing to do. That's a very good idea, I think, personally. And I've seen people do this and it seems to work, if only for the time being. But that's what I'm talking about. Just these short-term, small scale things that you can do to help yourself out right now and for this hour and for this day. It doesn't have to be anything grand and wonderful to totally fix your life and all this. You can't do that. I don't know whether that's in your power. If it is, phenomenal. Do it. If it's not, and it probably won't be, don't expect it to be, okay? I'm not saying expect for your world to be crap for the rest of forever. I'm saying narrow your expectations to the point where you can take care of yourself for this hour. And that is all I have for you today, my wonderful, beautiful audience. I will see you tomorrow to talk about... Actually, I don't know. I have ceased to plan these ahead, as you've probably seen, but I'll think of something, and I will come back and talk to you about it tomorrow. Hopefully the sun will be out. That'd be nice. All right. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye. Mwah.